true crime podcast where best friends and next door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Willow.
Hello.
Hello. It's Caught on Camera month still.
Show is.
We could do 3 years of this and not run out of material.
And I'm telling you, Caught on Camera Caught on Camera
Anything.
cases
Freak me out.
Oh, it's creepy.
Yeah, this one's really, really creepy. But I don't know. In looking up cases, there were a million I could have picked from the States, but I decided, hey, America's not the world. Crime happens in other countries. And so I decided to take a trip to the UK.
The other America.
America's senior.
Sure.
We're ridiculous. Yeah. So, trigger warning, content warning on this: sexual assault, murder, and stalking, and just frustration in general.
Stalking is creepy.
This case is infuriating for several reasons and caused quite a bit of controversy when it happened. And this takes us to the UK and Ilford, London. Usually I don't talk too much about the locations of where our cases take place because the vast majority of them take place in the US because we're in the US. And most of our listeners are in the US.
Right.
Like, we don't really need to describe Cleveland.
No.
Most people in the US kind of got a pretty good idea what Cleveland's like. But I wanted to take a minute to talk about a place, to describe this place.
Set the scene.
Yeah, set the scene. And kind of to, I don't know, talk about a place most of our listeners will probably never visit.
Right. I will probably never get
Couldn't
to.
definitely not afford to go abroad like that. I would love to go across the pond, as the Brits say. Yeah. I would really love to go over there.
I want to see some old shit.
Mm-hmm. And I want to hear you guys say stuff wrong.
I love it.
I love it.
And the different dialects everywhere you go. Mm.
Yeah, we named our cat Moggy because that's what British people call kitty cats sometimes.
Moggy.
It's a little Moggy. Oh, it's cute. It's cute. Have your biscuits, which are cookies, and with your tea. And y'all, tea's legit, though. Let's be fair. Tea is legit. I love having tea. But y'all have it like at specific times. I'll just straight up 3 a.m. have some tea.
I have to have it if it's cold outside, and
Oh no, I will drink hot tea anytime.
I'm an iced tea girl.
And I do like my Southern iced tea. And listen, y'all. Okay, British people, please sit down. Come here, gently. You need to get you some regular black tea, Lipton, all right, or Louisiana iced tea. Mm-hmm. Or is it I can't say it right now. That's not the right word. I'm stupid.
It's
you
red.
know what I mean? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
It's a red label.
It's red label. Delicious. You're going to steep that shit in like a pound of sugar.
And a little bit more,
A little bit
Just
more.
a little
and then
more.
you're going to steep it for 100 years, and you're going to take out the tea bags, you're going to add your water, stir it up. Let's make sure you got to make sure all that sugar's melted. You don't want crunchy tea. That's gross.
Yeah,
you're going to pour it
see-through.
over ice. And you want that tea so strong it could peel paint.
It's almost like syrup. It is syrup.
It's syrupy.
Because it's hot, and then whenever it pours over the ice, then it melts the ice, and then it makes it the perfect consistency. It's fucking delicious.
Perfection. And I want y'all to try it next time you're having your tea and your biscuits and crumpets or whatever the fuck a crumpet
On a hot
is.
summer day.
Yeah, because y'all don't have AC. You don't have air conditioning over
Really?
there. No, not because it usually doesn't get too hot.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they have overcast times.
but it's been hot because the Earth's dying. So try some Southern iced tea. We're always hot and full of insects. So and we do that, and it's delicious. I want you guys to try it and then get back to me and say, you know what, Lillian? Yes.
You
And-
don't add the sugar to the cold tea.
No,
That's not
fucked
how
up.
it
Do
works.
it when it's steeping so it melts. Fuck off. Okay, back to this. Yes. So Ilford is old as balls.
Oh.
It was founded officially in around 735 AD. That's so old. Look, nothing here is that old.
Well, yeah. I mean, our town is like late 1800s, so it's like the hills have barely been touched by people around here.
Yes. So, like, at most, something's going to be a little over 200
that rock
years
over
old.
there is definitely...
Most buildings here are going to not be much over 200 years old.
Not at all, no.
So it's just wild to me that it's that old.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a rural, like, thriving parish in London. Mm-hmm. And then it had several, like, factories there during World War II. One was for telecommunications, so the Germans really targeted it and just bombed the living shit out of it. And ever since then, it never really recuperated from that, but it's a nice place. It has great schools, good education, lots of public transportation. It's a nice place to live. It is. It's a nice little bustling town. It's like a commercial town now, which means they have lots of shops. But they don't have any factory or not big industrial farming or any of that. So I'm just kind of setting the scene here. It's just there's so much history in the UK. It's just staggering to me.
And every single place you go, like at least what I've seen is like picturesque. Everything looks really cute.
And Ilford became world famous in the 19th century for all the Ice Age fossils people unearthed, like mammoths and shit.
Really?
Fascinating.
Oh, that makes sense that they'd have mammoths.
That's really cool. So, yeah, that's where our case takes place. And Zara Aleena, age 36, some sources say 35, and I could not get an official birthday for her. I guess that information just wasn't released to the public. At the time of her death, grew up in the Ilford area. Her grandparents had come from Pakistan in 1968. Zara was raised by her mother, a single parent, but they lived in her grandparents' house, and there was always family around to look out for her and help raise her. Like,
wait, what was her name again?
Zara Aleena. Isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
Name? Yeah, it's a beautiful name.
That's gorgeous.
Her family was focused on getting her a great education and was always taking her to museums around London and then eventually all across Europe, which gave her a real love of traveling.
See, that's what I would do if I traveled around Europe, would be go visit the museums.
I would just visit everything. God, so cool. Zara loved traveling and had an adventurer's spirit, always up to try new things, going to new places, and to have meaningful experiences. She was outgoing, bubbly as a kid, really energetic, just like with this boundless curiosity. Zara was a delight to be around. She was into dance, ballet, and ice skating, but she knew what she wanted to be when she was only 5 years old. She wanted to be a lawyer.
Get it, girl.
Get it.
Get it.
Lawyers in England are called either a solicitor or a barrister, depending on which part of the law they practice. See, they just...
That always confused me because I hear people say solicitor, and I'm thinking like door-to-door salesman.
Yeah.
And what was the other word?
Barrister.
Well, barrister sounds like banister, and that still confuses me.
What are y'all doing? And then putting so many syllables in aluminum, and it's aluminium.
It's like a song when you guys say it.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but I'm here for it. She was a hard worker and graduated law school. She was well on her way to becoming a solicitor and also worked on behalf of political refugees from other countries. In addition to that, Zara volunteered at soup kitchens. She took care of her grandmother and mother, making sure they had their needs met, like their medicine and everything like that. She was a charitable, good person who loved cats and her family more than anything. Zara had a bright future ahead of her. At 35, she was well on her way to success that she'd been working so hard for. Y'all, law school's no joke. Yeah. I had many friends go to law school, and I will tell you, they were always working so hard. You have to be smart. It's more than just hard work. You have to be smart, too.
Mm-hmm.
And Zara She was both a hard worker and very intelligent. In 2022, Zara had finished her course and could now practice as a solicitor. She had gotten a job at the Royal Courts of Justice where she would work for 2 years to finish like the rest of her qualifications. Like, then she could do private practice, I guess. I'm not really sure the difference between a solicitor and barrister, and in the interest of time, I didn't want to get into UK law too much because I'm not as well educated on it. I will just confess. It is not the same as America's laws, though similar.
Mm-hmm.
similar. They have jury trials and stuff like that. But like their qualifications for what meets certain standards, like premeditated murder, for example, is a little different than ours. And I
had no idea.
Yeah, just a little bit. On June 26th, 2022, it was a warm summer night in Ilford. Zara met a friend at a local pub called the Great Spoon of Ilford, where she had dinner and some drinks. After they finished at the Great Spoon, they kind of went bar hopping for a bit. When midnight was kind of right around the corner, she decided she was going to stop drinking because she just wanted to enjoy the friend's conversation without getting, hammered. Mm-hmm. She was like, I just want to listen to my friend talk and have a good conversation and then go home. She was really responsible. Mm-hmm. While Zara was having a fun night with a friend, a man named Jordan McSweeney was prowling the streets looking for trouble. Jordan McSweeney was a repeat offender and sexual predator. He'd spent most of his adult life in and out of prison. He had recently been released on license from prison, and that's basically where an inmate gets out of jail with certain conditions, like our parole system.
Yeah.
And he should not have been.
Yeah.
The 29-year-old at the time of his offense had recently been incarcerated for racially motivated crimes like harassment, and I couldn't get like a read on exactly what that was, but I'm assuming attacking people because they were a different race. And it's important to note that Ilford has the most ethnically diverse population in probably all of England.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is cool.
That is really cool.
But he didn't like it.
Oh, that makes my heart race a little bit more.
Yeah, because she's Pakistani. Mm-hmm. He'd been arrested for assault and for having a knife in prison. Jordan had 28 convictions for 69 charges, ranging from petty theft all the way to assault. He was listed as medium risk by the parole board by mistake because some of his prior charges weren't listed on there, nor was there, like, it listed. He had a restraining order against from a former partner. And had that been included in the paperwork, he would have been put at high risk and not released at all.
Oh my God.
So this was basically a clerical error that got him out of jail. Jordan was a violent man who enjoyed like working out a lot and bare knuckle boxing. He frequently got into fights and terrorized the women in his life. He'd had a troubled childhood where he'd been physically and sexually abused. In his teens, he was already acting out. And this is, obviously from the trauma.
Right.
And that's where he started committing some of the petty thefts and driving offenses. He spent more time in prison as an adult than he spent free. On June 17th, just 9 days before he attacked Zara Aleena, Jordan was released from prison after only serving a small portion of his sentence for racial harassment. 4 days after getting released, he went to live with a friend in a camper in Valentine Park in Ilford. And this is going to be almost like a Coney Island situation. There's like rides and stuff and food vendors.
Okay.
So, and campers like...
So this is like a week after he gets out of jail.
Yeah.
That's
9
disgusting.
days.
My God.
He was supposed to meet with his probation officer as a condition of his release, but he didn't make any of these appointments, and as a result, his license was suspended, so his license to be out of jail, not his driver's license, on June 24th, just 2 days before he would attack Zara. So that meant he should have been arrested.
Yeah, that day.
That day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he wasn't. Oh, and we'll get to that a little later. On June the 26th, Jordan spent his night drinking at the Great Spoon in Ilford. It was likely he was with her, like they were in the same bar, the same pub.
And he was watching her the whole time?
No,
Oh.
Not then. He was busy just picking fights and harassing women.
Wow.
Just going around pestering women at all their tables, trying to pick fights, and just general unruliness. And he was thrown out of the bar at 11 p.m. for harassing a female staff member of the Great Spoon.
So she probably saw this.
She might have seen some of it, yeah.
And just been like, oh my God, that guy's so annoying.
Now, something about the UK that I find really interesting is that they have CCTV fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Like every light post, every street,
Good.
like in London, is like this. And a lot of people don't like it. I mean, it's not the most surveilled country in the world. That'd be China. China has way more
I can imagine.
security cameras, yes, and for entirely different reasons than London. But and a lot of people complain, like it's Big Brother, we're just being watched all the time.
It's
We
just
don't
the
have privacy.
streets. It's the public areas. It's for our safety. It's not like they're watching your bathroom or your changing room or your bedroom.
Like I can't personally find a problem with it.
I feel way too comfortable with it being there for our protection. That's just me.
Now this is not a case where CCTV solved it,
Okay.
but it sure helped.
Yeah.
It helped. It caught everything. All of his actions that night. Everything. He was staggering around drunkenly, stalking after women, CCTV shows. God. It's clear he's on the prowl hunting for someone because there's going to be a question of premeditation in this case. And to me, that's premeditation right there. He left his house, well, the camper he was staying in, specifically to go stalk and harass women and kill them.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what he was doing. He wanted to assault someone and kill them. So he walks right out into the road at one point, almost gets hit by a bus. He is very intoxicated. Right after that, he almost got hit by a car head on. A short while later, after nearly getting himself killed in the busy street, he can be seen stalking behind an unknown woman on the CCTV footage. The woman noticed she was being followed by Jordan, and so she literally ran away from him into a nearby store. Jordan followed her into the store, but then kind of changed his mind and left right after. CCTV catches him walking to the right, going around the corner and hiding because he's waiting for this woman.
God.
It's just so scary. Like, I've got the chills. She came so close to death and just, and this woman, you can tell on the footage, is just terrified. So you can see her, she waits, and she's like hesitating. She sticks her head out. She's looking back and forth. She exits the shop, makes a right. She didn't know which way he went. And he's right there. He is right there. So she starts running.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And
this is like, it's like a really terrible horror
to get away
film.
from him, she is running.
Terrifying.
And she goes down a side street, and you can see him just sprinting after her. After 21 minutes of him stalking her.
What the fuck?
21 minutes.
That's a long time.
And she
in real
knew
time?
most of the time, too. So you can imagine how scared she was. She was finally able to lose him. He chased and followed her for 21 minutes, and that is crazy. It's so scary.
That is terrifying.
Instead of giving up after this unnamed woman got away from him, Jordan continued to prowl the Ilford streets well after midnight, looking for someone to prey on. He spent the next hour harassing any woman he came across on the streets. And you can see they are clearly just not having it. They are creeped out by him in the footage. He almost gets into an altercation with one woman before staggering away to his next target. Like, he is getting in her face. He's going to be violent. At 1:56 a.m., Jordan found another woman to follow. He followed her past Northbrook Road and can be seen on CCTV tailing her for several minutes without her knowledge. Infuriatingly, you can see two men across the street notice that he's following this woman, but they don't do anything to help her. And, we talk about the bystander effect.
That's, prime example.
Y'all, you see something, say something. Even if you're worried it's nothing and it's none of your business, better safe than sorry. Because if they had acted out, Zara would still be alive. She would. I'm not blaming them. They didn't commit this crime.
Right.
But we all have responsibility to our fellow humans. So if you see something, say something. Luckily, this woman noticed he was following her, and so she tried to get away from him. At one point, he tries to drag her onto the porch of a nearby house, and then he kind of gets away, and he goes to another, and he's like ducking and hiding. But she crossed the road right after she got away from him and went into a house, like it was her house. She's so lucky.
What?
She narrowly missed being assaulted by this terrible man. Shortly after 2 a.m., Zara decided the night was over and she needed to go home, and she wanted to walk home from the bar she'd been at with her friend, and she was going to walk home alone because she did not live far away, like maybe 15-minute walk. And she'd made this walk before. In the evening, it was nice out. And I would like to note that from the CCTV footage, Ilford isn't like dead. Like, there's people on the streets. Yeah. There are cars. And this, I think, gives people a false sense of security.
Yes.
There's so many people around. Surely nothing bad will happen to me because there's witnesses literally everywhere.
Right.
But not everywhere. And the only witnesses are silent and they can't help you. They're these cameras.
Right.
And I just think that, you know what? She should have been able to walk home.
Yeah.
There's no reason that Zara shouldn't have been able to walk home.
I can't count how many times I've been in that exact situation.
Same. And a lot of people want to blame her friend for letting her walk home alone. We ain't doing that.
No.
Why? How many times have we seen that it didn't matter if people had friends with them? You know, we talk about victim blaming. I don't want to do that here because you should be able to
friends and family
home.
are part of the victims.
They're the victims too.
Yeah.
They lost a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine the survivor's guilt and just the guilt in general? So we don't need to dogpile on that. But I would say that while we should be, as women, able to walk home alone by ourselves, we fucking can't.
Yeah.
And don't.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's busy street on a Saturday night like it was here. Just awful. Zara headed up High Street, walking by the Ilford railway station, headed towards Valentine Park. Remember, that's the park he's staying at. At 2:17 p.m., she crossed paths with Jordan McSweeney, and he started following her. Zara walked in front of a house on Cranbrook Road. Jordan was very close behind her. It didn't appear that she noticed right away. The house had a big front garden and driveway, and this is where Jordan attacked her. He brutally beat her, raped her, and then stomped on her head. He spent 9 minutes raping and beating her. The attack was nothing short of vicious. Sexually motivated, Jordan had set out that night to rape and murder a woman, and you can't convince me otherwise. He had been mistakenly classified as a medium-risk offender, and had he not, this would have never happened. Zara's cause of death was brain trauma, strangulation, and blood loss. That's how violent and excessive her beating had been. He left her on the pavement, struggling to breathe.
Right there by the street?
Yep, naked, half naked, with her belongings strewn all over the yard and driveway. Jordan then stumbled off, leaving her for dead. She was less than 10 minutes from her home. Zara was found shortly after the attack, barely breathing. She was rushed to the hospital and, despite best efforts, sadly passed away from her horrific head injuries. He had stomped on her head repeatedly after strangling and raping her. She passed away at 10 a.m. after over 5 hours of intense surgery trying to save her life. She had 46 separate injuries. Her maternal aunt identified her body.
Oh, honey.
I hate that. Jordan attempted to go home after the attack. He can be seen scaling a rock fence and gate at around 2:38 a.m. His every movement was captured on CCTV. He got back to Valentine Park shortly after. The following day, he can be seen at this park disposing of his bloody clothes near the ticket office in a trash can. Just an idiot. Now, this part's rough to me. Jordan had used a baluster rod to beat Zara, and that's like, I tried to look up what that was, and this is some kind of UK term. I'm gonna guess it's like a banister, like in between the spokes, in between like
he ripped it off
railings.
A banister.
I guess it was just lying around, and he found it on the road, and I don't know if it was made of wood or wrought iron. I believe it was made of wrought iron.
Jesus fuck.
Yes. And he had left his fingerprints on it. So on June 27th, investigators matched those fingerprints to the ones for McSweeney they already had on file, and he was arrested for the murder of Zara Aleena. When arrested, Jordan yawned at arresting officers and told them they were boring him. I just really hate this guy.
I don't believe in violence, but I really just, my first immediate reaction was like, I just want to kick him in the face. Like, I just want to.
Just terrible. Disgusting. Zara's murder sparked national outrage. Disciplinary action against the parole officers responsible for neglecting to collect all of McSweeney's background and his misclassification as a medium risk offender that was carried out in like record time. However, it was, as most people believed, too little, too late. It wouldn't save Zara or the women that had come before her and the rise in violent crime against women in London in general. Hundreds took to the streets demanding justice for Zara and other women who'd been attacked by men who were let out of jail or got far too light of a sentence. Zara should have been able to walk home without incident. Investigators were able to collect Jordan's bloody clothes and shoes because they looked at the CCTV footage. So now they have lots of physical evidence, which is great. Because as we know, CCTV alone isn't enough. And then physical evidence, unless you have, I don't know. We're in a very CSI sort of society in the court systems.
Right.
That if you don't have the DNA and if you don't I hear it all the time. If it's a circumstantial case, it's not good enough. Most cases are circumstantial.
Yeah.
And that circumstantial doesn't mean a weak case. And I just like to get that out there because I hear it on podcasts. I hear it on court TV. Circumstantial doesn't equal bad. Just to put that out there. But this is not circumstantial. They have hard evidence on him out the wazoo because he was an idiot.
Yeah. It's just that hard evidence and like physical evidence is something that you would prefer to have in a case.
But the worst of it was the CCTV from across the street at a neighbor's home with a home surveillance system captured Zara's attack in its entirety. Yes, and of course that's never been released, and I wouldn't even look for it.
Oh my God.
The evidence against Jordan McSweeney couldn't have been more ironclad. Jordan, in interrogation, was largely incomprehensible, muttering, acting disgusted, sighing. He claimed he was on medication for ADHD and suffered from DID, which is a dissociative identity disorder. He claimed he'd been bitten by a dog earlier that day and refused treatment as if he were rabid, like he was trying to, imply that he had no control over himself because he was bitten by a dog. Doesn't make any sense. He used these as excuses for his brutal and monstrous attack on Zara. When further questioned, he became unhinged and threatened officers interrogating him. He said, just because my hands are handcuffed, you don't think I can't bite your fucking face off?
Whoa.
This guy should have never been let out of jail.
No.
And he got into fights in jail constantly. Just constantly.
I just don't understand why he was let out.
Because they were lazy. Because the prisons are overcrowded. Because the people are overworked. And they just wanted him out of there. Sloppy. He should have never seen the light of day again.
Well, now you have him again, and look what happens.
You're not going to like his sentence either.
No.
Yeah.
What?
We'll get there. Jordan pleaded guilty to murder and assault. And he never showed remorse. Let's just make that clear.
Yeah.
When I say he showed the opposite of remorse, he just gave no fucks.
He acted like it was a joke.
He did. As a result, his case then would not go to trial before a jury since he pled guilty. Jordan refused to be present at his own sentencing.
Refused? What do you mean refused to be present?
You can refuse to not be present.
You could just be like, no, I don't want to go.
Yes, that's what he said.
Really? Mm-hmm. They don't just escort you?
No.
Oh. That's confusing. Okay, go on.
The judge stated there was no clear premeditation for the murder.
What?
And I think that's absolute fucking horseshit.
Yeah. He stalked her.
He stalked women before. He would have killed one of those. He just killed whoever he could get his hands on first. How's that not premeditation?
But it's all on it. You can see it on the cameras. He's stalking.
He beat her to death. He had a weapon.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's clear to me that he planned to stalk and attack a woman that night. His actions are clear. I'm not I'm not educated enough on the law in the UK, and their definition of premeditation is likely different from the US's. So how the US's work in most states, because I think it does sometimes differ from state to state, but premeditated murder, first degree murder, that would be premeditated. Meaning I have sat here and thought, I'm going to kill this person.
Yes.
And then I kill them. That is premeditation.
Yeah.
Now, in most states, premeditation needs to exist only seconds in the mind of the perpetrator before they commit the act.
Gotcha.
So it's different than second-degree murder, which is not premeditated, meaning I fly into a fit of rage and attack someone. I'm not necessarily intending to kill them, but the result is that they die.
Right.
And that's different from manslaughter, which is, like vehicular manslaughter. Like, I super didn't mean to kill anybody today, but the results of my actions ended someone's life.
Right.
So that's all the differences. And I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm sure most of you totally know that already. But
it doesn't sound like this judge knows.
well, the judge knows. I'm just saying the laws in the UK are
I'm
likely
just saying
different.
that clearly this guy is premeditated.
I do not know. Why are we wanting to cut this piece of shit a break so much is what I don't understand. To me, premeditation started the minute he started stalking that first woman.
Or the minute he started fucking with people in the bar.
In the bar. He was there to pick fights and harass a woman, assault a woman, and his actions clearly show he decided to kill her.
Yeah.
Or he wouldn't have stomped on her head several times, which is what ultimately killed her. Mm-hmm. So I do not agree with this whole it wasn't premeditated horse shit. I don't believe that.
So what was his sentencing?
He did get life.
Okay.
He did get life.
God,
However,
hurt.
we'll get to that in a second.
My blood pressure is just so bad.
His requirement is that he serves a minimum of 38 years before he could be eligible for parole. So it's not life without parole.
No, and he's in his 30s?
He was 29 when he did this in 2022. So he will still be alive, and he could definitely get out. I mean, he'll be very old. To be fair, he'll be old enough. I just think go ahead and give him life, and don't give him parole.
Yeah.
And I get the parole; he'll be in his 90s, but like still, wait, not his 90s.
No, 60s.
I can't fucking math. That's not what I'm paid. I'm not even paid. That's not what I'm here to do.
It's not what I pay to be here to do.
Shit. Don't call us out like that. Look, it's almost making money now, okay? The podcast is almost making money. We're close. Like October. We'll be big. I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah, this guy is a danger to everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, not just
Clearly.
women, but especially women.
I think the staff at the jail knows. I think that's why they want to get rid of him. They're like, I can't handle this guy. I just...
Jordan McSweeney was supposed to be arrested the day before he assaulted and murdered Zara. Police had shown up to arrest him at the camper he was staying at with his friend, but he wasn't home. So they were just like, oh, well, no urgency, no manhunt, no tracking him down, because he was classified as medium risk. To be fair to the officers, they were just going by the paperwork they had. If he had been classified at high risk, not only would he not been let out, but if he had, they would not have just gone, oh, well, we'll get him another day when he's at home. Because if he had been home that day, he would not have been able to kill her. Mm-hmm. So I can see why the whole country just was like, fuck this shit. Mm-hmm. And took to the streets. That's what we should do every time there's an injustice. Because they don't listen to us when we're polite. They don't listen to us when we say it nicely or sign petitions. No. Get out on them streets. Soup for my family.
Every single person has to be a George Floyd. Every single one.
We have to care. Mm-hmm. We have to care that much. And that's kind of my whole thing is just, for the love of God, empathy. Empathy for your fellow man at all times. The world would be such a better place. But, unfortunately, most of us that have the empathy don't have any means or ability to execute it.
The reason why we have empathy is because we can, we're struggling.
We too have had the boot on the head. We understand. So now I want to leave that case in the dust forever to...
It's just terrifying.
Just so,
I know I need a better vocabulary and I need more words than just terrifying and Jesus fucking Christ, but I'm just in shock at just the images.
For me it was the absolute unhinged, unwarranted brutality visited on this person just having their day, just having a nice night for
on
no
the
reason.
Sidewalk.
Yeah. Just leaving her that way. Hurting her so badly.
For no reason.
For no reason. She did nothing wrong. Nothing. And she was so beautiful and so smart and so charitable. It's like, God, you had to pick the best one on the street to do this to. And I know there's no such thing as a perfect victim.
Right.
But man, she comes close. A lot of these people do.
It's
They
not,
just your average, like above average person. I don't volunteer at a soup kitchen.
right.
God.
And there's so many times I could have died. Yeah.
It just makes me so sad because I think what wonderful contributions to the world would she have made?
Right.
And now we never get to find out.
Right.
And her family lost someone so vital and important and special.
Right. That's what I was thinking about when you talked about her mom and her grandma.
Taking care of her family. Like, because they had that it takes a village mentality. She didn't move out of home, not because she couldn't, but because she didn't want to.
Right.
She was surrounded by love, just generations of her family all working together. And I just think that's really special and beautiful. And it just got ruined because this guy just couldn't control himself.
And the system couldn't cage him.
And his came from years of abuse. It's just the cycles of abuse just repeat and repeat. It's so disheartening, y'all. It's so disheartening. So I'm going to go into business time, but I'm not like going to invent a transition because I'm too sad. I'm too sad.
Know.
Yeah. So, first of all, I would like to thank all of you who have reached out and gotten tarot cards readings recently. And if you have, please do go leave a rating on my Facebook page. Yeah. But I love that I get accurate. And you guys tell me like, oh man, it was
Does it
uncanny.
not give you goosebumps, like
I can
every
feel the
single time.
connection. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, if you want a tarot card reading from me, I am running some specials right now because these bills are due. And I pulled unpleasant financial cards. So
for yourself.
Yes, I did. It was like, bitch, you broke. And I was like, I didn't need you to tell me. I know.
Go and get.
I was like, it's time to hustle. So if you would like a reading, please reach out. I want to help you. Put your mind at ease.
Right.
I want you to feel like help you unlock like your own inner potential to get through any of these problems because I promise you, you're more than capable. And that's what I tell everybody because it's no fun to pull a tower card for a client. I'll tell you that.
I hate that card. It's the worst one. It's the number one worst.
I don't think any of the cards are bad.
Well, I do.
That's just because I read you to filth.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I think it's fitting because like that's how we started our friendship was me being able to come over here and comfortably vent and ask for advice and like you barely knew me but you listen and it's fitting because you're really good at it.
Thank you. I really like to make a connection with whoever I'm doing a reading for. It's really important to me that we connect and I can feel it so I can get my intuition really going. And I think I have good advice, but if I don't, you tell me to fuck myself. All right, and Maris is doing star charts too, and if you ever want to see examples of those, I have lots of pictures I am happy to show you. Also, our Patreon. Hey, wow, it's really going to town. Welcome, new patrons. We love to see it.
Hi.
Hi. I am kind of like stunned.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. But we have some really great cases coming up, you guys. Willow, we are going to record it tomorrow. We're a little late because we have had a bunch of...
Oh, hey, guess what?
What?
There was a mama cat that abandoned her kittens one by one in my backyard. And so now I have 4 squeaky kittens. 2, I think, are from a different mother.
She is stealing cats from other cats.
Yeah, because
she is not a good
like
mommy.
4 to 6 weeks old, and then 2 of them are 3 weeks old.
They are tiny.
Tiny, and one of them is named Tiny. And so I'm bottle feeding kittens round the clock, and
we're
taking
tired
care of them. Plus, the toddler is potty training as well, and
because you love your life.
Everything at once.
Everything at once. And yeah, we got some personal stuff going on too that we're not going to get into because no one cares.
Yep.
And it's just not a good story to tell. Abandoned kittens is a great story.
They're real cute. Like, I'll show you in Discord. They're so freaking
Lillian up at 5 a.m. crying over money and eating too many Nutella cookies. Not a great story. Sort of pathetic.
Nutella cookies?
Girl, Dollar General has Nutella biscuits, and they are a crunchy shortbread cookie filled with Nutella.
Wait, really?
And my kid bought me some because I was crying.
And they got me ice cream because I was still crying.
Yeah, Val got Willow some ice cream because it's on sale.
Ice cream.
Cry cream because you're just going to cry into it. Yeah. But yeah, we've been going through. But anyway, get you them Nutella biscuits. Yeah. Okay. And they did call them biscuits because I guess they're British now. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Have those with your sweet tea. Go into a diabetic coma. Don't do any of that. But they are delicious. And they were good for the crying. Good cry food. You know what I'm saying.
Of course I know what you
Sit in the bathroom.
I'm a professional crier.
Run
I am
the
the
water.
town crier.
Eat the cookie.
Yes.
Look at kitties on the phone. Cry. That's what I do. Because it's been stressful. But yes, our Patreon, we got some great cases coming. I'm covering the victims of Israel Keys, the serial killer who freaks me out the most. I don't know why. He's just so awful and scary and terrible. And then I'm going to be covering the Scott Peterson case. Not the whole case, because we all know what happened. And if you don't, I don't know what rock you've been living under. I will summarize it if you haven't heard it, like if you're very young. But I was like pregnant when that came out. And I was like, my God,
I actually have never followed that full case. I just saw it in the paper so much that I was just like, okay,
it's fucked.
New information.
It's fucked. There's no new information except the family of Scott Peterson says there is, and is trying to twist things around so that Scott can get free. And this motherfucker does not deserve to be free. And this is a misinformation campaign to get you on his side. Y'all, I've been on Reddit. I have seen people turn it around and will attack you for saying Scott Peterson is guilty. And I would just like to go point by point that his family and his lawyers have made, and I'm going to destroy it, and it's going to be a good time for me, and I want you to join me. I've been researching this for months.
It feels a lot like I know it's nothing like the John Benet Ramsey case, but like as far as like the media and people's opinions on the case.
It is a trial by media for sure. However, I'm going to say this, and I don't say it often, Modesto police did an amazing job on this case. End of discussion. They followed every lead. They were thorough. They didn't even target him until he made himself a target. They did a great job. They proved it beyond a reasonable doubt. The prosecution could have done a better job. However, I'll get into why in the Patreon episode. And this is our $5 tier. So go join that and get prepared, because I am just going to go ham this month, and next month. I have so many great cases that I'm covering where I feel like I can get more in depth, and I have a little more freedom on Patreon.
I'm watching a docuseries for my next Patreon case right now, and I'll tell you about it off the mic, but... Yeah.
I read a book. I read the book Lacey's mother wrote about her. And I will tell you, it has fucking destroyed me. It's part of the crying. I'm just like, I'm also broke, and that's stressful. But then reading this poor mother and all of her pain and everything she went through, and then she wrote this to honor her daughter. And the last line fucked me up so hard. I can't go on about it anymore. I will cry a lot. But I want to honor Lacey, because I feel like this shit with Scott's family and his lawyers dishonors her memory.
Right.
It muddies the waters. And it wastes resources. And I am sick of this motherfucker. He's where he belongs. He's in jail, and that's where he needs to stay forever and ever. He's a danger. Right. He is a danger. He was going to kill his mistress, too. Oh, Lord, y'all. Just buckle up. I can't wait to do this case, and I can't wait for you to listen to me rant for 100 years. I will become unhinged because I have really dived deep. Right. Nancy Grace would be jealous of my deep dive. She's terrible, but I mean, she was right about Scott Peterson. But that's all the business time I want to do. I'm too tired to do any other business time. This case made me sad because it was so pointless.
Yeah.
I think that's what did it, is just the pointlessness of it. Just how random, just this random explosion of violence.
And just for all to see.
He didn't even care.
Yeah.
That too, just the lack of emotion from the perpetrators, just also super disgusting. And this Monday, we will be covering the submersible Titan, which went down to the Titanic wreck. Well, it didn't Well, it did, but not successfully.
Oh, you're gonna cover. Okay.
Because I've watched every documentary on the CEO of the company who made the submersible. I have researched where they were going, how deep it was. I've researched every person on board. There's so much misinformation out there about it. I thought it would be good to, because Titanic is my special interest.
Right.
I thought it would be good to dispel things and just say what actually happened.
Right.
And, there's a lot of memes and we're all, ha, 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 very funny. I'm not comfortable with that. And hey, y'all know I don't like no fucking billionaire. I would like to launch Elon Musk into space to join his car. But it's more than that. There was more than billionaires on board.
Terrifying.
Terrifying horror movie level and disgusting display of hubris. That's all. And we'll talk about it, and I want to see what you all think, and I've collected all the information so you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's what this Maris Monday is about. But until then, if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for reaching out and saying nice things.
Really, though.
It helps me on the rough days where I'm crying in the bathroom, eating Nutella biscuits.
Yep.
It makes me want to keep going and keep trying. And so I really appreciate it. Y'all are very lovely, each and every one of you. And we will see you next time. Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby.